Earl Hoover's wife, and their second wife too.
Oh,
Who was his second wife?
Belle, I think she was a Conway. I think she was John Conway's granddaughter. I think that Frank's uncle raised her, but she was his granddaughter.
Yeah.
well, I know I can remember Uncle Frank going over to see Earl Hoover once in a while, but I never did know what the connection was there.
Well, now you're talking about the Conways. Is Clem and Clayton and all them related to Uncle Frank?
No, I think that's
No.
a different set of Conway.
Just a different
I never
set.
heard of it before.
I never
I
heard of
just wondered about that.
a different set, I think.
Well, I still say there was a house up there on Sam Lamar place at one time, way back there next to Uncle Frank's line, just east of it, but
It looks like there might have been,
there's an old part of the foundation there.
but
Rocks and stuff, like it'd been a house there.
it evidently was a long time back.
Yeah, it must have been.
Of course, now where Homer Leonard lives too, there was a house back in the field
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, well, of course, Vic had one back there too, but there's another one west of that.
Yeah, there's a, back there where the old house used to be. There's a lot, used to be, I don't know now, but there's lilac bushes and flowers and things there.
Well, there used to be, that's the only place I know in that part of the country, there was a great big persimmon tree right there for that old house, or where the foundation was.
I don't remember it, I didn't know
And that
that.
great big persimmon tree, in the fall of the year after a big frost and everything, you know, well, we'd go coon hunting and now we'd let our dogs go back there and hunt, we'd eat persimmons off that tree. Well, that was a good persimmon tree.
Now, where the John Sayers used to live, there was a persimmon tree down there.
Where? Oh, yeah. Well, no, I forgot about that, but.
I don't suppose it's there anymore.
Yeah, probably not. There ain't very many persimmon trees in this part of the country anymore.
Now you go out where the Covered Bridge Festival is out
Yeah.
there. There's a lot of persimmons out there,
There's a lot of them down in southern Indiana, down there by Mitchell, Indiana, too.
but they're not good if they're not ripe.
No, no.
Your dad got me to them once, and I said, well, Cleveland, I don't think them ripe. Oh, yes, they're good and ripe. Well, I don't think they are. Well, they are. So, I didn't think he would lie about it.
No, no.
But he did.
Well, how long did had Ben and Sylvia Taylor lived in their place there, or had that been an old place back years ago?
I don't remember. I believe that Vivian, I know they lived over there back where Jeff lived a while, you know, where the big house used to be.
Oh, the big
Yeah, they used to live there.
Huffman.
And I just
Yeah, I
don't
know that.
remember when they moved, where they, I know back, Uncle Frank went back, no, Kennedy's used to live back there, Willie Kennedy's folks. And I can't remember just when Ben moved there.
I didn't know whether some, back years ago, it was some old people's houses,
How many kids did Ben and Sylvia have?
3,
All right, well, they had one girl, didn't they?
Charles, Vivian, and Paul.
Vivian's the one I couldn't, I
Yeah,
know Paul's
Vivian's
girl.
the one that she went to Bible school, and this George Shaw, I believe was his name. And his wife had went down there a while too, and they knew each other pretty good. So Ben went around and told George once, I believe his name was George, said tell Ellen that Vivian's coming home was home this weekend, I guess. And George said, well, I bet your wife was glad to see her. And Ben, just as sober as could be, said yes, and so was my wife's first husband. Well, he went back to his machine and he studied a while and he come back and he said, "Who did you say was glad to see you again?" He said, "Well, my wife's first husband." Well, that was the truth.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot about baby, and I thought there was a girl, but I couldn't remember her name.
Now, did they marry anybody around Hagerstown?
I think she married a fellow from North or South Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Seems to me like it was North Carolina, and they went down there to live.
Yeah.
And then they were on the mission field a while, I think. He was a minister.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that. Now, Paul, he left the area too. I don't remember where he went, but he didn't stay around here.
Paul, the last account I had of him, he was in Florida.
Was he dead now, ain't he?
I think he's dead now.
Yeah, he's dead now.
The only reason I heard about him being in Florida, I asked Charles about him. And he said, well, Paul didn't turn out too good. And I thought, well, now, if Paul turned out worse than Charles, then
Yeah.
But,
Well, who did Charles marry?
I don't know. See, him and his first wife parted and he married her.
Oh,
He was mean to his first wife. But I guess his second wife, she could plant things. But anyhow, he said that Paul got away with part of his folks' money. And said fortunately they had enough left to get him in the home. Now that's all I know.
now they had moved out there on that Tidewater Road, or that road out there across from the nursing home,
Yeah.
and come to Home Mission Church when we first went there.
Yeah, they, after they moved out there, because where they lived up there, they thought, well, it'd be better to be out there where they could get in and out better.
Yeah.
The weather got bad. They were both getting up in years a little bit.
We had you had a Sunday school picnic one time. We went over at their house, Ben and Sylvia's.
Then
Well,
it's,
Yeah.
Paul was still living. He'd be about 68, 9, right in there somewhere. He's still living.
one time Paul decided it was be fun to get a bunch of tin cans and tie on the back of his dad's car. So they clattered him bang.
Well, I remember telling about that.
And they stopped and picked up Mother Smith, and Paul, of course, he was careful watching his dad. Ben just drove on as unconcerned as if they weren't there.
Never did pay attention to them,
He
huh?
just completely ignored. Really spoiled the fun for Paul.
Now, did Grandma Smith, did she go to Nettle Creek when she lived there at the Willie Henshaw place?
I know she went to West River till then when they got so, then towards the last she went down to the Home Mission Church.
But you went to the Christian church for a while.
She went to the Christian church when till they moved up there and the kids all got to go into West River.
Oh, they went to the Christian church before they moved up to.
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
I think she taught Sunday school class in the Christian church, so anyhow they went there.
Oh.
Then they moved up there and the kids went to going up to West
Yeah.
River.
Yeah.
And so that would have left her to go down to the Christian church by herself.
Yeah.
So that's the way she got to go in the West River.
She done Grandpa over her trick one time. Well, he done it himself, I guess. But he hadn't. She made him go to church and he didn't want to go.
Oh, well, I bet he spelt it.
Yeah, he got the picnic basket out and she had a bowl of gravy in there. He upset that.
Upset the bowl of gravy all over his clothes.
Then Grandpa took a case knife and just scraping down. I bet she was doing a lot of talking.
That's probably at West River too, huh?
Well, that
Oh, I
was a
think
Christian
that's-
church.
Oh, at the Christian church.
As far as I know, he never went to the West River.
Yeah.
I seen a piece in the Hagerstown paper about Cecil Charles. Did you read that?
Mm-mm.
Maybe it's in the Richmond paper. I thought it's Hagerstown paper. He's 94 years old and lives in a home in Indianapolis.
I know Suzanne
Don't
Craig.
ain't she still living?
I kind of thought she was gone, but I'm not sure. I
Well, now,
don't know.
Julie wrote to her or somebody or just recently.
Well, maybe she is
Didn't you
still.
say?
Oh, I don't know about Julie. Suzanne Craig, back when I worked with
Well,
her
I don't know about
from,
this lady.
I don't know.
Well, okay, I'm probably mixed up on that.
No, I don't know.
Julie said that she had wrote to her and she's surprised that she's still living.
I
Some
don't
reason
know.
she wrote to her. Get
Well,
some
now, she
information.
may still be living. I don't know.
She
She
might
was a
be.
king, wasn't she?
Probably.
Related to Marfield?
No,
No, I don't think
No.
so. That other
no.
king
Well,
took around the continent.
Who was Dale Hart King's mother and dad? You know that?
I don't know.
I don't know where they come from.
He married Marvel Holiday, didn't he?
Who?
Del Hart King.
No, it's Bertie.
Huh?
Bertie, somebody.
I don't know what her
Well,
name
there must
was.
have been two other.
We called her Bertie, but I don't know what her name was.
I don't know what her name really is, but I'd say Roberta or something.
We just called her Bertie, but that might not.
But I don't know whether, she didn't, Lois Pollock wrote this letter. See, she married,
Oh, that's who it comes from.
she married James Charles, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And she mentioned Cecil, but she didn't mention her, so
But she
now
may be
maybe
gone.
she's still living and she just didn't mention her, I don't know.
Well, I thought sure Julie said that she wrote her to get some kind of information and she was surprised that she was still living.
Hmm.
I thought, but maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe it's Cecil that she wrote to.
Well, why would I have visited Martha Pollock with Grandma Smith, I reckon?
And she lived right next to Grandma.
And lived right next door to her.
Yeah.
Well, we
I
was
know
over there
that.
for some reason or other, and I got acquainted
Oh,
with
yeah,
Martha.
they try to back and forth all the time in that neighborhood.
But Lois, I forgot Lois, his name.
Yeah.
I knew her, but I couldn't think of her
She
name.
married James Charles. And
Yeah.
then the other one was Henry, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a big doctor out west.
He's out with a doctor out west. I know Lois, when she, Julia, when she worked in the doctor's office there at Richmond, why, he called over there from out there, something about his parents, and told who he was and all. And so she asked him if he was
That may be what I'm thinking about too.
if he was a Dr. Charles that used to be in
Yeah.
Hagerstown. He said he was.
Yeah.
She said, well, told him who she was and said, you delivered my boy.
Yeah.
That's what it was. She didn't write that Cecil's wife. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew he was her doctor for one or
Yeah,
two
but
of
you
them.
talked to him not too long ago.
Well,
Yeah.
but I would say that it was probably the Henry Charles instead of what Cecil, but it might have been.
Yeah, I bet it was. Yeah. Henry was, he's 66 or 7.
I know we used to have a Sunday school picnic once, and Rosie was there, which was Cecil's dad.
Yeah.
Well, Cecil taught school at Downton, you see, and he made them call him, although they knowed him. You know, at school, they had to call him Mr. Charles.
Right.
So we had this picnic, and Rosie was there, and he had two of his granddaughters with him. And Rosie was real full of fun anyhow. One of them, just before Cecil got married, or just after or something, one of them said, Rosie, is Mr. Cecil married? Is Mr. Charles married? He looked at her like he was so astonished. He said, well, of course I'm married. These is my granddaughters.
Yeah. Old Cecil had a good reputation.
He taught school, and then he quit that and went to work in the factory,
I don't know.
said he'd rather work in the factory than
Yeah.
teach school. And then, what he done after, I don't know, he might have done something else after that, he might went back to teaching.
Well, now,
I think he did, because it told about him teaching at all these schools, so he must have went back to teaching.
Might have.
I don't know.
All right, now, did Rosie own, who owned that ground where Wilbur tried to buy that time, was gonna buy? south
That belonged to, Grace, her sister to Charlie Stonecipher's wife, it belonged to her and her husband. And it went with where Baldwin's is now, it went with that.
Oh, Frank Harris' place?
It was the Frank Harris place.
Oh,
Rosie's was on the other side.
yeah, that one clear up there. I never did know exactly where that went.
Okay, while you're up in that area, what was Garland Rinker's first wife's name?
Gertrude.
Gertrude, and one of the girls was Peggy. And I can't think of the other's name.
One of them Eileen.
I don't know, he had 3 of them, didn't he?
I think there was 3 of those girls. I don't remember.
I can't remember, don't know where they ever got to. Don't know who they ever married or anything.
I don't know who his second wife was. Her husband died, and I don't know. I knowed him, but I can't think of his name.
He was a Stevens. He was a Stevens.
Virginia Stevens.
Yeah,
Oh,
Virginia Stevens is Gary Stevens' mother.
Stevens, yeah.
Now, he was married before he married Virginia, though, wasn't he? Wasn't his first wife Hilda Jones?
No, that I don't know.
I don't know nothing about her.
But Stevens, I know him because he always liked to raise roller pigeons.
He was quite a bit older than Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Garland is too.
Garland's just a young guy.
Oh, is it? Huh. Funny, he looks older.
Yeah. I don't know how Garland is, but he's getting up there pretty good. I think he still gets around good. Last time I seen him, he did.
Kind of crippled up. Part of the time he gets around fairly good, part of the time he don't. He must have rheumatism.
Yeah, might
Probably does.
Of course, they sold the farm and moved
Yeah.
into town.
be. Yeah.
Well, when you was working at the shop, you lived up on the Dishman place? Okay.
Did you work down there, or did you just go down there and pass around?
I worked down there.
You worked, huh?
But you lived on the Dishman place, and that's where you went to start going with Dad and all that stuff.
Well, I went with him when we lived there, yeah. That's where we lived when we got married.
Oh, yeah. And his folks lived at Willie Henshaw's place. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine that them jobs down at the factory a lot different than they are now.
Yeah, I went, Claiborne took me through the factory down there once when he was off on vacation, and he went down, took me through it. I couldn't even find where I used to work. I think maybe the cafeteria was in there.
Oh, well.
But anyhow, I couldn't find it. The benches weren't there, or nothing.
Yeah.
Well, they change things around down there so often that it's hard to.
How much did you make an hour when you went to work down there?
I believe 12 cents an hour.
12 cents an hour, yeah.
That's
That
probably
was
about right.
big money.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably.
What year was that?
Well, I'd have to do some figures. I think I was 18 when I went there. See, I graduated when I was 17, and of course you couldn't get in, back then you couldn't get in the factory until you was 18.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was some in there that wasn't 18 that they couldn't run the machine. Of course, I never run a machine.
Does Uncle Lawrence and you work there at the same time?
A while we did.
I know he worked down there one time, and I couldn't remember when you both worked there at the same time or not. Of course, that's for my time a little bit.
My grandpa and grandma lived in Richmond, and I stayed there a while when I
Oh,
was there.
yeah.
And then after Claiborne and I went to going together, why, he come past and picked me up and took me into work and then took me home.
But
Yeah.
you come there from Richmond back to work down there, huh?
Huh?
Which grandpa and grandma you talking about?
They lived in Hagerstown.
Oh, they live in Hagerstown.
They lived on High Street. You know where that, those apartments is there on High Street?
Yeah.
Well, they lived in that first house east of there.
Now that was Morris Pittman. Okay, that's the Pittman the woman was talking about then, that lived there.
Yeah.
Remember I was trying to tell you
Oh,
the other
okay,
night that
yeah.
they lived there where your grandparents lived? Well,
I
it was
never knew that.
great-grandparents. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
who the woman was. She lived there, whoever it was.
Oh, that's what you was trying to tell me where.
Yeah.
My folks lived there, and I
Well,
said,
she-
no, they didn't.
Well, she said my grandparents, you know, well, I just took it was Grandpa and Grandma Pittman, but
No,
it was
it
Morris
wasn't.
Pittman.
Yeah, they lived there a while, and then they moved back to Richmond.
Yeah.
Yeah. 12 cents an hour. Yeah, that's pretty big money.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought I was making big money.
Uh,
Yeah, and then when Claiborne and I got married, I aimed to keep on working. He didn't want me to. So he told me the next day after, well, when he went back, I said, well, I'm supposed to go back to work today. He said, no, you're not. You're not supposed to go back till tomorrow. Well, I didn't go. So when I went down, why, Everett Fosnight laid me off because I hadn't notified him or come into work. So, didn't worry me too much. So then, Wes McCullough found it out. And he told Claiborne, said, tell her to come on back to work. Of course, Wes was a friend of Dad's and Claiborne's both.
yeah.
Claiborne didn't tell him the reason I wasn't there that day. And you know when he told me that Wes told me to come back, for me to come back to work? When I was in bed when you was a baby.
Is that right?
He never told me till then.
They just forgot to tell you.
But he always wanted to have some kind of stock around. He wanted me at home to take care of that.
Yeah.
So all he had to do, I got up in the morning, went down and fixed up the fire. I fixed his breakfast and brought it in to that room where the fire was, where it was warm. I brought his wash water in there. And I would have his clothes around the stove. He got up and dressed and sat down and had his breakfast and went out and got in the car and went to work. And then he had a sow there. We had chickens. I reckon that's all we had.
Did he always work second shift or days?
He worked days back then.
On days back then, anyway, the second later.
Then he got laid off, you see, and farmed for several years. And then he went to the Crossley. And then he got called back to Hagerstown.
I can remember him working over at Crosby, but I couldn't go back any farther.
The day he went back to Hagerstown, I suppose he had his name in down there, I don't know. Don't remember that. But anyhow, Wes McCullough come up there and wanted him to come in to work that night. Well, we had went and bought peaches, and of course, Claiborne always helped me can something.
Yeah.
Figuring that both of us would be there to can those peaches, and I forget how many we had, but several. And he, of course, had to go to work. And I was still canning peaches when he got off at midnight.
Is that up at the other place or there at Noblet Road?
No, it was back where Floss.
The other place.
Now, what we all called that the other place, didn't we?
Yeah.
I don't know how it got started. We all just called it the other place.
That and where Dad owned there had all been one farm.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask you. That's all.
The old Paul place.
The old Paul place.
Oh, okay.
You see, at one time, there had been a road. You remember that driveway? It went,
Okay.
past the barn?
Yeah,
and a road went through there at one time.
right. Well, I forgot about some of that.
And if that road had still been there, we'd have never moved away from there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But of course, I think it was a road probably like a lot of them was back then. They were just more or less a lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a driveway.
Yeah,
That's probably how come that house had been built back in there like that.
probably.
I was
Yeah.
gonna call you a while back, I thought about it. That day was a storming and blowing and so cold. I thought, oh, I'll call Mom and tell her to get her saws out there on east of the barn and saw some of them pieces of wood up.
Well, you remember that well was out back of the house there and had a cement block over it.
No, I forgot that.
Well, there was.
I know where the spring was, but I.
Well, we never used that well, but there was one there and you
There
could
was.
tell where it was. And Aunt Nettie Woody said that the house used to go back there.
Uh,
Said she had stayed all night there when she went to talk school.
I remember you and Dad going out there on the north end of that old east part of the barn, fell in or something. You
They
guys
tore it down.
took a crosscut and saw that wood up and burned.
Yeah, and we saw him one day and Dad Claiborne said, wait a minute. And I
Yeah.
saw him step, and I let loose and saw him step back. And he come around there and killed a big black snake just right laying along that wall
Yeah.
where I was sawing.
Well, he brought one to the house for you one time.
Yes, he did. And in the winter, and it froze, you know.
Yeah.
And after he'd been in there a while, it went to moving, and I went out the door. I said, you get that out of there, or I'm going over to Mom's, and I'm not coming back till you get it out.
Well, now you talk about Aunt Nettie Woody and Aunt Mamie Keever. Now, was they any relation, or just that's what you?
Aunt Nettie Woody was Dad's aunt, Grandma Pitman's sister.
Oh, is that right?
And Aunt Mamie Keever was, everybody called her Aunt Mamie.
Grandma Pitman's sister. I didn't know she had a sister. I thought Uncle Ross and Uncle Reuben her was on 3 kids.
My
ago.
grandma's sister.
Oh, your grandma's sister. Oh, okay.
My grandma's sister.
Oh,
Mother just had 2 brothers, and then there were twins.
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, Grandma's family. I don't know whether I know them all or not. There was Grandma, Aunt Carrie, Aunt Lib, Aunt Nettie. I don't know whether there's any more girls or not. And there was Will and Adam. No, was that might have been down. Yeah. I don't know. I never knew him, you see, so it's just from hearsay.
Yeah.
That's Uncle Clarence, Uncle Peter, Uncle Will, Uncle Adam. Did I name Uncle Arthur?
No.
Uncle Arthur. He went out west and took up land out there. That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
So it was a good sized family.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Well-
They always lived up around Fountain City most of the time. Most
No,
of them.
I'm talking about Grandma Pitman's family.
Oh, yeah.
My
Yeah.
Grandma Pitman's family.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get mixed up on the
Yeah, on which grandma you talking about? Yeah.
Now, my mother was raised down around Hopewell.
Yeah,
And then the Macy's all used to live down around Hopewell.
yeah,
And then they moved over to Fountain City, Grandpa and Grandma, and Uncle Reuben was still home. And Uncle Ross moved over there from Fountain, west of Fountain City.
Yeah. Uncle Ross was one on that land on the south side of the road over west of Fountain City. wasn't
Yeah,
Yeah.
he owned that. They had that yet when Uncle Ross died.
Yeah.
They sold it. They kept that because Kenneth and Thelma thought sometimes, they might want to build there.
Well, did Uncle Ross and Uncle Reuben live right there, almost side by side for a little while there in Fountain City? Where Uncle Reuben lived so long, where Carolyn lives now.
Yeah.
All right, did Uncle Ross just live east of them? Right there
Uh-uh.
close, he did. Well, I couldn't remember. I know you lived down on part of downtown.
You went into Fountain City and, well, you know where the schoolhouse was there in Fountain City.
Well,
It's
yeah.
kindergarten now, I believe,
Yeah.
that's where it is. Their house was right back of it.
Well, I knew they lived there, but I was thinking for a while they lived there, right there, almost side by side with Reuben, but
No,
now somebody lived there that I know, one way back years ago, but I don't know who it'd be. Uncle Larson never lived there, I don't think.
and then Grandpa lived just, what, east of the elevator?
Yeah, he lived on the south side of it.
Yeah,
I don't know who would have lived there, I don't remember.
Well, maybe not, maybe not. But I remember when Uncle Ross